Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be solving the course practice quiz for chapter 1, year 2 biology. Make sure if you haven't watched the two previous videos where I explained the chapter, make sure to watch those two videos because it's going to help you a lot in understanding this quiz, and most of the information I explained before is going to be here again in the quiz. So let's begin. So the first question is asking us, what are some dietary sources of protein? I included in the video a table from your book. I told you guys to make sure you know the sources for all the energy sources we have, such as carbs, fiber, fats, proteins, mineral salts, vitamins. Okay, so for protein, of course, eggs have protein, fish and red meat, and finally peas and peanuts. We can find citrus fruits, they're important for vitamin C, and oils and butter are a type of fats. So the second question, they're asking us which types of food are rich in starch. Now remember, starch is found only in plants. How do they form starch? Starch is formed when there's excess glucose and they don't know what to do with it. They convert it to starch. While in animals, excess glucose is converted into glycogen. Okay, just a small reminder. So which types of food are rich in starch? So we're gonna look at the ones that have plant origin. So potatoes, cereal grains, milk of course not, peas and honey no. Now third question, which nutrient regulates bowel movement by adding bulk to fecal matter in the large intestine? Remember, this one it does not serve as an energy source, it just helps us to prevent constipation and regulates bowel movement. It was insoluble fiber. And again, note that fiber is not used as an energy source. The reason is we cannot digest fiber. Question 4. Which of the following are more likely to be linked to heart diseases when present in large amounts in the diets of individuals? I also mentioned this in the video, so this is straightforward. Saturated fats such as junk food we eat, and also food that has high level of cholesterol. Okay, which of the following nutrients is essential for the health of bones and teeth and plays an important role in the process of blood clotting? So this is important and plays an important role in the process of blood clotting. You'll see why. Because vitamin D is important for the health of bones, but it does not play a role in the process of blood clotting. However, calcium is important for the health of bones and it does play a role in the process of blood clotting. Let's check our other options. Iron, we said iron is important for hemoglobin. And hemoglobin, remember, it's a pigment found in red blood cells and it helps the transfer of oxygen. Fiber, remember, is not an energy source. It helps regulate bowel movement and prevents constipation. While vitamin C, remember, is important for the skin and our health of our gums, which are teeth. Okay, so 1 gram of something contains about twice as much energy as 1 gram of carbohydrate ore. So remember, we said 1 gram of fat contains about twice as much energy as 1 gram of carbohydrate or protein. This is very straightforward. You have to know that fats contain the most energy. So now we have to choose the condition associated with each of the following deficiencies. So a lack of protein is going to be kwashiorkor. Don't mind my pronunciation if it's wrong. And B is a lack of proteins along with a lack of many other nutrients such as carbohydrates and a low overall calorie intake is marasmus. So marasmus is when we have a lack of protein, carbohydrates, fats. So overall our diet is bad. It lacks all the important nutrients. While if we only lack protein, then we will have kwashiorkor. So drag and drop the mineral whose deficiency results in anemia. It is iron. Again, guys, make sure to watch the video because I put a table that has the deficiency in the vitamins, the deficiency in our nutrients, and the disease that we will have. So now they're asking, is a condition characterized by bleeding gums and wounds that do not heal properly? So before we look at the options, directly, let's think about it. So bleeding gums and wounds that do not heal properly. So wounds that don't heal properly, we're talking about our skin maybe, and our bleeding gums. And what did we say is important for healthy skin and healthy gums? vitamin C. And a lack of vitamin C causes scurvy. So without even looking at the options, we already found out the answer. Okay, now match the energy needs to the corresponding factors that affect them. Remember, as we age, our basal metabolic rate decreases, so we need less energy. So lower energy needs is for old age. Now higher energy needs, if we have a lot of physical activity in our day, then we need more energy, so we need more food. Also, if a lady is pregnant, that means she has a fetus inside and the fetus needs food. And needs energy. So she's going to have to eat more because there's two people now who need energy. And also usually males have a higher energy need than females. The intake of more calories than what is required by the body by the body is an example of malnutrition. Remember, malnutrition was either an excess or less. So deficiency or excess. So malnutrition. Okay, which may result in excessive weight gain or obesity. Remember, obesity is when we exceed the BMI, which is the healthy range is between 18 and 25. If we exceed it, we'll be overweight and we can reach obesity. When large amounts of saturated fats and cholesterol are consumed, diseases such as coronary artery disease, also called coronary heart disease. Okay, you just have to know it, and we mentioned it before and also in my previous video. Coronary heart disease. Okay, let's go next. Name a substance other than calcium whose deficiency in adults could generally lead to weak bones and teeth and the high risk of bone fractures. Remember, we said there are two nutrients that are important for our bones. First, we have calcium, and we also have vitamin D. But remember, vitamin D, what was the role of vitamin D? Vitamin D allows us to absorb calcium. So more calcium, we're absorbing calcium, so we have healthier bones, okay? And if we have a deficiency of vitamin D, and it's usually found in children, they're going to be diagnosed with rickets, not rockets. Okay, this is a very important graph. The general amount of energy given by each class of nutrients is represented in the graph below. So immediately, we can see that A has the highest, remember we said, has the highest energy. So which class of nutrients are represented by A? We said the nutrient that has the highest energy are fats. Now, which nutrients give similar amounts of energy per gram? We can see B and C are similar, so it's going to be carbohydrates and proteins. Now, D has no energy, so we don't use it as an energy source. So we said our three main energy sources are fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. So what's remaining are water, minerals, fibers, and vitamins. Those are not used as an energy source. However, they are still important, as we saw that vitamin C and D are needed, fiber is needed, minerals are needed, and even water is very important. Okay, during the process of digestion, starch and most of the sugars present in food are broken down into the simple sugar X that can be used as an immediate source of energy and is the main substrate for cellular respiration. What is sugar X? Remember cellular respiration, what were the reactants? Glucose and oxygen, and then we release energy, carbon dioxide, and water. So the sugar is going to be glucose. And remember, glucose comes when we break down carbohydrates. Okay, now it's a matching question, very easy. Long-term energy storage. Always when you see long-term, think of fats. And now here we mentioned it before. Glucose, excess glucose that's stored in muscle and liver cells is in the form of glycogen, while in plants it is in the form of starch. Okay, here they're asking us what is one difference between refined cereals and wholemeal cereals. Now, which one is better first? Let's start. So the better one is wholemeal cereals. Why? Because they have bran, and bran contains more fiber. So now they're going to ask us, so wholemeal cereals have more fiber, so we can say refined cereals contain less fiber. They're asking us, can humans digest fiber and absorb its components? Of course not. We said it is not a source of energy. Which part of a cereal grain is rich in fibers? Since we said that wholemeal cereals have bran, that means, and where is bran found? Bran is found in the outer covering of the grain. So the outer covering of the grain is the part that is rich in fibers. And what types of food are rich in fibers? Of course, it's going to be vegetables, nuts, and whole grain cereals. Okay, the difference between saturated and unsaturated fats. Remember, we said saturated fats are unhealthy. They can lead to heart diseases. Unsaturated fats are healthy. Now, what is the difference between those two? Saturated fats lack any double bond. So there's no C double bond in saturated fats. So they're able to stack on top of each other. So they are solid at room temperature. While unsaturated fats have at least one C double bond. Since they have a C double bond, they cannot stack on top of each other. So they will be liquid at room temperature. So our general liquid or unsaturated are found in red meat, eggs, or saturated, are linked to an increased risk of cardiovascular diseases, or saturated fats are richly found in vegetable oils or unsaturated, contain fatty acid chains that lack double bonds. Lack means they don't have, so it's going to be saturated fats. Now they're asking us to fill in the blanks. Fats play several essential roles in the human body. So fats serve as, remember, long-term energy storage molecules. They can store, remember, fats store the most energy, so they store twice as much energy as carbohydrates. And they are water insoluble. Therefore, they can be stored inside the cell without altering its osmotic potential and drawing water into the cell. And fats are commonly stored, remember, they're stored in adipose tissue under the skin, forming insulating layers. Remember, insulators reduce heat loss. Remember, you took it in physics. Conductors allow heat loss or electricity, while insulators prevent. So if we're preventing heat loss, we're reducing heat loss. Okay, let's go next. Red meat, fish, eggs, dairy products, peas are important animal sources of a type of nutrients. The body requires these nutrients for the growth and repair of body tissues and for the synthesis of enzymes and hormones. These nutrients also make up hair and nails. So usually they're asking us, what are these nutrients? So usually, whenever you see something that's doing everything, it's usually proteins. So proteins have a major role in our body. As you guys can see, they make up our hair, our nails. They're important for growth, for repair, for the synthesis of enzymes or hormones. So a lot of our body needs proteins. And that's why you're going to see later on in a different question, we use proteins as an energy source as a last resort. When we're starving and we haven't eaten in a long period of time, that's when our body will start using proteins as an energy source. But we don't want to break the proteins because they play an important role in our body. Exactly, this is the question I was looking for. The body used different nutrient reserves for energy. Order the following reserves. Pay attention from the one used first to the one used last. So the first source we used, the last source we used. Also put it in the video, so make sure to watch it. So the first thing our body uses is glucose. Now our glucose is done. So what are we going to go for? Our glycogen reserves. So the glycogen reserves will be second. Because glycogen, remember, is excess glucose stored in the liver and muscle. Now our glycogen reserves are done. So what are we going to do? We're going to use the lipid reserves. And finally, as I mentioned before, our last option is going to go for the protein reserves. Why? Because proteins play a major role. Okay? Perfect. Okay, we have to complete the sentences. Liver meat, dark green leafy vegetables, beans, and lentils are all rich sources of something which is needed for efficient oxygen transport. Remember, what's important for oxygen transport? Iron. Why iron? Because iron is needed for hemoglobin, which is the pigment in red blood cells. And what is the function of red blood cells? Their function is to transport oxygen. The essential mineral for the health of teeth and bones is calcium. The inorganic, remember, inorganic nutrients are our mineral salts in our diet, but not considered sources of energy, are mineral salts. While vitamins, remember we said vitamins are organic substances, mineral salts are inorganic nutrients. And now they're asking us examples of minerals needed by the body, or what were the two minerals we mentioned? Calcium and iron. Okay, now we just have to match vitamin D. Remember, vitamin D was fat soluble. Vitamin C was water soluble. So vitamin D is a fat soluble. Okay. And it's important for the absorption of calcium in the intestine. Now, vitamin C, we can also call it ascorbic acid. It is sensitive to heat and light, and it is needed for tissue repair and the proper functioning of the immune system. That's why sometimes when people have a flu, they drink vitamin C because it gives them energy, because it supports the immune system in fighting diseases. Okay, this is very simple. They're asking us to name the substance. So it is a solvent, which nutrients, hormones, waste products, and other chemicals get dissolved. It's a transport medium. It is a reactant in many vital chemical reactions. And the key player in the body through the process of sweating, of course, is going to be water. Now we have to match the nutrient to its description. So calcium, we said, is important for the bones. So let's check which one. Also for blood clotting and nerve impulse. Proteins provide building blocks for the synthesis of enzymes and hormones. Fat forms layers under the skin and around body organs. So those layers can either be layers of insulation, or sometimes they could be layers of protection. And now fiber, remember, fiber is not an energy source. It just regulates bowel movement. Starch is found in plant origin, so potatoes, yams, and cassava. Vitamin D can be synthesized by the skin when exposed to sunlight. So we've all heard when our parents tell us get in the sun to get vitamin D. That is actually important for us because our skin can't synthesize vitamin D, and the function of vitamin D helps absorption of calcium. So olives and avocados are high energy types of food. To which type of nutrients do these foods belong? Of course, it's going to be unsaturated fats. Which of the following are characteristics? Remember, unsaturated are liquid and they contain with at least one C double bond. Dietary fiber is a type of carbohydrate that can be obtained from food such as fruits, vegetables, nuts, and cereals. What is another name? Another name is roughage. Okay, make sure you know how to spell it if it comes as a typing question. Which of the following result from diet poor in fibers? Anemia, we said low level of iron, so we're going to cancel it. Colon cancer, it does, because we said that fiber helps our large intestine. Coronary artery disease, no, we said that's when we have a high level of saturated fats or cholesterol. Same thing with heart attack, and constipation also can occur. What are the building blocks? Okay, for starch, it is glucose. For proteins, of course, it's amino acids. And remember, we have 21 amino acids, 9 are essential. What does essential mean? Essential means that our body cannot make them. And if our body cannot make them, what does that mean? We have to get it from our diet. Lipids are from fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, this is a nice question also. So we have to relate the food to one of what they're saying. So let's look. The food that supplies the most energy. Remember, what did we say the one that supplies most energy? Fats supply most energy. So we're going to check which one has the highest amount of fat or lipid. So it's going to be, if we look at the table, B has 82.5% as lipids. So we're going to choose B. The most useful food in preventing anemia. So what prevents anemia? First of all, how does anemia come? Anemia comes if we have a diet that's deficient in iron. So to prevent it, we need to have a diet that has high levels of iron. So we check again the table. Highest level of iron is 4.7, which is food E. The food that releases the most amino acid molecules when digested. So when what amino acids are the building blocks of what? Amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. So we're going to check which food has the highest percentage of protein. So if we look at the table, we're going to find it's going to be E, which is 24.8. Now finally, the food that is most likely going to be a fruit. Remember, fruits have a high level of carbohydrates, but they also have a high level of vitamins. So we're going to check not only carbohydrates, but we're going to also look at our vitamin. So that's why we're going to choose A and not D. So name the mineral described in each of the following cases. Is needed for the formation of hemoglobin. So hemoglobin, we said, of course, it is iron. Now required for healthy bones and teeth, it is calcium. Plays an important role in blood clotting, also calcium. To stay healthy, Sarah should eat a balanced diet. She has to take in 1,800 calories daily. What is the consequence of taking 1,200 only? Of course, it's very bad. That is part of starvation. Now, Laura's daily recommended amount of vitamin C is 75 to 90 milligrams. Underline the effects in case her intake was only 30. So she's way below what she needs. And a deficiency of vitamin C leads to scurvy. Okay? Let's see if we can underline it. Okay, perfect. Which of the following is a major source of vitamin C? Remember, it's fresh citrus fruits and fresh cabbage. Which disease develops when the arteries that nourish the heart muscle with blood are narrowed by fatty deposits? Remember, we say it's going to be coronary heart disease. Marasmus was a lack of protein, carbs, and fats. Cardiac muscle disease is not a thing. Cholesterol also leads to coronary heart disease. Okay, we have to match the health problems to their description. So rickets was a deficiency of vitamin D. So what do we expect? We expect the bones to be soft. So soft and deformed bones due to vitamin D deficiency. Marasmus is a lack of everything. So we're going to check low body weight due to lack of proteins and carbohydrates in the diet. Kwashiorkor is lack of protein. So swelling in the belly, that's a symptom, swelling in the belly, because there's a lack of protein in the diet. Scurvy was a lack of vitamin C, and vitamin C was important for the skin and gums. So we're going to have bleeding gums and inability to heal wounds properly. Anemia, low iron, so no hemoglobin enough to carry oxygen. That's why people who have anemia usually get tired easily. Now this is very important. The basal metabolic rate represents the amount of energy, that's an important definition you have to know, per unit time needed to perform different body functions. So as an adult, you require, as male adults, we said, male adults generally require more food than an adult woman of the same age and lifestyle. And the basal metabolic rate, we said, decreases gradually with age, and pregnant and lactating women usually have slightly higher energy and calcium requirements. Okay, we still have 3 more questions. So we have to match the description. BMI or body mass index is the ratio of weight to height. Remember, height squared, and height should be in meters squared, not centimeters. So if they get you a question in the exam or the AMS, the height in centimeters, make sure to change it in meters, and then you square it, and then you divide the weight by the height. Obesity is accumulation of excess body fat. Starvation is when we have a severe deficiency in calories, and food label is just the distribution of calories between nutrients in a product. Now we have to match the condition to the nutrient deficiency. Kwashiorkor is a lack of protein, scurvy, lack of vitamin C, rickets is a lack of vitamin D, and anemia is iron deficiency. Name the mineral whose deficiency results in impaired growth in children, fragile bones, and weak teeth. The mineral, so it's going to be calcium. Okay, I think that's it. Let us submit. Oops, we got it. We spelled, that's our only mistake. We spelled calcium wrong. Watch out, guys, in your exam. Do not spell anything wrong and make sure to double check from your exam. So submit. Perfect, we corrected it. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below if there was a question I either went too fast or you want further explanation. And also make sure to watch the video, as the videos provide a deep explanation into everything we just took now. And I'll see you next time. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.